Okay, so it's the beginning of the year, getting back into season, we got competitions coming up, and it might have been a while since you've competed or you've never competed before. You might be thinking, how do these people come here and make it look so easy to go so fast to these courses and get like stupid fast times? Well, if that's what you're wondering, I'm Coach Tyler, and I'm at Murrieta here today to go over exactly that. We're gonna be talking about the tricks and details on how to win a speed competition. Now, just like a speed course, we're gonna jump right into it because we don't have time to waste. So first off, we're gonna talk a little bit about distance using a big old bungee. Come with me. Okay, so the first point we're gonna go over is distance. And what I mean by that is shortening the distance between the obstacles that you have to go through in a speed course. A lot of the time we have choose your own path courses, meaning you have a few objectives, places you have to go, and you have to touch each of them. Now, usually you'll get to pick the order, and you get to pick where you start and finish. So because of that, a major factor of how you can get a good score or a poor score on these is how efficiently you move through them in the sense of distance. So I've got a little mock-up course here of 4 points. Now, if we're starting at this one, if we want our time to be really efficient, we're not going to want to zigzag back and forth between each of these points. Reason being, if you look at just how stretched this is already, it's not going to be very efficient distance-wise. So here at the end, I've got a lot of tension. If I just let it go, that's a lot of distance, and we don't want that. So instead, we're gonna try to think about how we can do this course without covering as much distance. Now, that's kind of gonna bring us to our second point, which is trying to keep a straight line. Now, no matter how good you are at cutting corners, it still is going to be a bit slower than if you were able to propel yourself in more of a straight line, simply because you have to slow down to be able to turn corners. So the straighter a line you can make in a course, usually also the faster. And that's gonna apply to this course. So let's say I start here. If instead of going zigzag back and forth, I'm gonna make it like a circle, so it's a straighter line overall. And this time, there is much less tension on this bungee because this is much shorter. A much shorter path and way more efficiently. So, that is both distance and trying to keep a straight line. Over this next one. So, now over here. This is gonna bring up another factor. This one is using the course to your advantage, using the environment. So right here, if I'm running here, going full speed, and I want to cut this corner, using my foot as I just did, getting a good corner cut hard, is pretty fast. And a way that I could help myself make it even faster would be utilizing that I have this bar right here. I got this I can grab onto, and I can slingshot myself through the corner. So if I go here, run through, versus I do the same exact thing, that second one, I had a lot more speed coming out of it. So when you're in a course, look around, see what you've got around you. Vertical bars are fantastic because you can use them and yank yourself around a corner and really pick up that speed. So when you're waiting in line, when you're getting ready to do your course, when you're watching them just explain the course, think about how you can utilize your environment as something to benefit you, not defeat you. So point number 4 that we're going to talk about, we're going to switch environments to where we actually used a course in our qualifier this last weekend. So this course was a touch point, pick your own path. You had one up here, one right here, and a couple down there. Now, a major factor in designing the course for an athlete was that there's a lot of high things and there's a lot of low things. And that same concept does still apply of keeping a straight line, but on top of that, we also want to work with gravity, not against gravity. So, when we're doing a course, if you get to go down a bunch, you're probably going to go faster because you're working with gravity to pull yourself down to the floor, and you'll be able to really use that to propel you. Where if you start at a low point and then you work your way up to the higher points, you're going to have to use your strength, and you're going to have to really put in some power to be able to get anywhere near as fast going up, which on one part is less efficient strength-wise, but two, it's just gonna be slower, almost definitely. So when you have a course where there's a lot of verticality to it, I would suggest going from the top, whatever is highest, usually, and then descend down lower. Now, use your brain. If something's way up high and then it takes a long time to climb down to the next object, maybe find a different way. But the point being, gravity can be your friend or it can be your foe, depending on what you decide to do. And that is point 4. All right, we're all gonna jump together. You ready? Going across to the L block, and woo! All right. Number 5. Now, this is one we all know. But in case your mom didn't drill it into you well enough, or your coaches, or whoever, you know that thing, sleep? You should probably do that. You should probably definitely do that right before you compete.
Yeah, quick disclaimer, I meant the night before, not, right before. You get it.
When we are competing, this is our chance to go and do our best. And we're not gonna do our best if we're not sleeping, we're not eating, we're not getting our muscles ready, not stretching. So when you have a competition coming up, give yourself some time and focus on getting your health, your body into its prime state, so that when you go and compete, you are ready, not just mentally, but physically. You are ready to go and show them what you've got. And that is the 5th point. I just really want to hit home. Before you compete, get some rest, eat some food, give your body the fuel it needs. That way you can really show what you've got. All right, so I've got one more point to talk about. And this one it's pretty huge. It is a major factor in competition for all sports, for anything in life. So if you want a life lesson, listen now. Your mentality is a tremendous factor in not even necessarily your success at the competition, but how you're gonna feel about that competition. How you're gonna feel before, how you're gonna feel after. It is super significant. And here's what I mean. These are competitions, yes, to compete against other people. But at the end of the day, you can't control how good they do. You can only control how good you do to your standard and your training at your level. Nothing to do with anyone else. So when you're at a competition, remember, this is your chance to show what you've got to you. This is for you. Don't worry about other people. Try to win. I do suggest trying to win. Go 100% to do as best as you can. Try your hardest. But try your hardest for you and not to beat other people. And that is all the 6 things that I have for you guys that I've learned in a experienced veteran athlete, whatever you want to call it, in competitions. So I hope these are really helpful to you in your training, and that everyone gets to go and have fun at these competitions coming up. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. I've made a bunch of tutorials on this channel. We've done so much stuff. The pro team went and traveled for like a whole 6 months, just going around to a bunch of different spots. We made a bunch of videos. It was great. If, I don't know, like you like seeing my face and the other pro team athletes' faces behind a camera, then go watch those videos. They're cool. That's it. See you later. Bye.